Welcome everyone to Galactic Thursday. I'm Jeanette Byro. I'm a medium and a cosmic channeler. And today we're going to go straight to the cosmos. We're going to connect in with my galactic guides and see what they have to share to, give us some insights of what's going on, maybe with the eclipse season. I don't even know. So I'm just going to tune in for a minute here and see who's here, see who wants to talk, and we'll go from there. So just hold on one sec here. Interesting. So this is coming from my council, and when I connect with them, I always see them up on in their kind of council boardroom on a spaceship. And I've been brought to this spaceship in my astral body before a couple times. I don't know exactly where it's orbiting. I don't often get those answers. So I'm going to keep trying to get those answers, but they're in that same space. And when I kind of popped in there and I asked them, what's the insights for today? And they said, it's the curious case of divine intervention. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm like, is this like a big collective divine intervention thing? And they said, no, it's actually being curious through this eclipse season of the times in which you feel you've received divine intervention. And they're saying it really is the energy of the eclipse. And if you joined me in Cosmic Consciousness last night, we talked all about this, how the universe acts on your behalf during eclipse season. And what they're showing me is that principle is really true for us on an individual level, specifically in this eclipse. It's kind of like it's really coming through on the individual level. And these divine interventions are really to get you in your highest alignment, and they're echoing all of the work that you've done, meaning all the clearing, all the healing, all the growing that you have done and you have put the time into during this eclipse season. The universe gets to respond, right? It's kind of almost like a karmic balancer, or maybe for some people it's a karmic reset because you completed a lot of things. So what's happening is this curious case of divine intervention, like they're saying, is a reminder for us to either look back this past week or notice what we notice as the week carries on forward of where is this divine intervention playing out in your life? What things have rapidly changed or shifted to get you on your path and moving in the right direction? Because those are the things that they're wanting us to notice so we can really recognize the divinity within it. It's not just a bad luck situation, or it's not just a coincidence situation. This is the case of divine intervention. I'm going to see what else they have to say. Hold on one sec. And they said, through the mist is sometimes where we find the greatest glory. And the mist really represents those times where we really feel this kind of chaos and confusion, where we're like, I don't even know where I'm going anymore. This thing came out of left field. I don't even understand. And sometimes we can even feel that way about good things too, right? We're like, I don't even know where this came from. It's so good, but I can't even make sense of it. If you feel like you're moving through the mist right now, keep going, because it is through the mist that the glory will come, the clarity will come, and the understandings as to why these things transpired. There's more. Hold on. Okay, they're also saying that the galactics have a very, very heavy presence in our orbit around Earth right now. There's a heavy presence. There are many, many ships around there. I wish there was some way I could prove that, and I wish we could look on a screen and see them. But there's many ships orbiting right now, and also many eyes on Earth right now. Earth is like a real hot topic in the galactic worlds right now. Like, all eyes are on Earth because of the ascensionary path that we're going through, which we all know, right? And they said part of this divine intervention is happening because of the heavy presence as well. So they are also helping to create these moments of divine intervention, because again, everything works under source. Everything works under creator, universe, God, whatever your word is. The galactics work within that same principle, that same energetic source, right? That's why I tend to call it source. I don't even know if that's the right word, but the source of all things, that love energy, that consciousness spark, all the galactics work under that as well. So that energy runs through them as well, right? And they're moving in that energy of divine intervention as well for our behalf. So what that can look like is maybe you have a significant dream. Maybe you have, for example, for me, the other night I woke up at 4 a.m. and my guides were like, look up vagus nerve reset. I was like, okay, thank you, right? These like divine intervention moments of things that can really shift something. It can come in so many different ways, and the galactics are part of that. And so they're saying, they're speaking to many, many, many of us on an individual level. Your guides, who are galactic in origin, are speaking to you through dream state, through inspiration. Maybe some of you can more clearly communicate with them, but again, they're playing their part and doing their role as that divine intervention of insight or information, just the same way that you and I do it in every day, and sometimes we don't even realize. You know, when you meet somebody, say at the grocery store, and they happen to be at the till right in front of you, you divinely just happen to arrive at the exact same time, and you get into talking for some random reason, and all of a sudden you say something that radically shifts their trajectory. Like, say you're like, hey, did you know that, or the person's maybe like, hey, I noticed you have a whole bunch of cilantro in your cart. Are you having a Mexican fiesta? And you're like, no, actually, cilantro is really good for cleansing the body of this and this and this. And for them, that is that piece of information they needed for their next step in wellness, is maybe to bring cilantro into their diet, right? Again, you didn't consciously go to the store to meet them, but it was this divine intervention of aligned things. So they're saying that on their level, they're also connected into this divine intervention. They have more knowledge as to what they're doing and as to why. It's not as kind of unconscious as we sometimes find it. But they're saying, just know that this is happening from top down. So notice the things that are happening for you right now, because it's really important. It's going to give you clues as to where you're going, and it's giving you redirects where needed. As well, they're saying it's opening your gateway of communication with them. Even if right now your communication is simply receiving and you don't know how to communicate back, talk back to them out loud anyway. Talk back to them in your mind anyway. When you have that moment of divine intervention, say, Spirit, Galactics, I see this, I recognize this as divine intervention. Thank you. And maybe you can't hear anything back yet, but when you interact with them in that way, it starts to create this kind of like conduit energy of communication where you can then start to hear them back more clearly. So they're saying, please take note of these divine interventions. They're not just coincidence. They're not punishments. They're not any of those things. They're karmic resets and rerouting based on soul journeys. And again, it's happening on a very individual level. So it's very different for everybody in the way in which it can show up. But it is paving the path. And it is also really connected into this trinity of blood moons that we have. We had this first blood moon lunar eclipse that kicks off this 3-point trinity eclipse thing. New paradigm is what I'm being shown. That started with our blood moon last week. And so the first one is really heavy on the individual. The next one in September will be heavy on the collective. And then the next one in March is like even bigger than that. It kind of rains down over everything. So again, if you miss Cosmic Consciousness, I talk more about that in Cosmic Consciousness. You can always purchase a rerun at avalonspirit.com. But there's much to be said for it. So just, again, pay attention to the divine interventions. Notice what you notice. Make it real for yourself, because it's going to help you in your path forward. So I'll leave that with all of you. Thank you so much, as always, for joining me, and I will see you all tomorrow.